What's up YouTube? Welcome to Talk Malcolm Talk. Also happy 4th of July. So let's talk. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the world of wrestling for the past couple of days. Like, oh my god. Got stuff from WWE, New Japan, and TNA, or Global Force Wrestling now. So the actual confirmed news going on in WWE right now. So last night on Monday Night Raw, it was announced that Sheamus and Cesaro are defending the Raw Tag Team titles against the Hardy Boys in a 30-man Iron Man match. Besides Joe and Lesnar, this will probably be the best match on the card. I'm feeling this match. It's gonna be good. And also Enzo Amore is gonna be taking on Big Cass. I just feel sorry for Enzo because like I know that Cass is gonna win. What are you really gonna do with Enzo after that? They might have another match at SummerSlam because both of the guys are pretty familiar to the area. I just don't know what you're gonna do with Enzo as a single star now. It's also confirmed that NXT star Tommaso Ciampa is still gonna be out injured until March of 2018. He got hurt, I believe, at a live event right before NXT TakeOver, before DIY had their really big breakup. And now you have Gargano back on television. What are you really gonna do with Gargano until he comes back? Because you have to save that feud until next year. If they're gonna do TakeOver New Orleans, I'm assuming that's gonna be one of their biggest matches on the card. I don't think it's gonna happen between now and March, but maybe if Gargano won the NXT title, which that actually could happen because he's pretty over, that could actually be your big title match for NXT New Orleans. If it's not, then it's probably gonna be one of the biggest single matches, but still, you gotta wait until March. It does give Gargano time to get really over as a babyface, which he already is, but you know, gives him more time. Maybe he'll get a title shot or something. Tommaso will come out and attack him from behind and cost him the championship, and there goes your motivation back into the feud. Now for the rumors going on in WWE right now. So it's actually rumored that the Shining Stars are actually requesting for their release. In WWE, they really weren't doing anything. The last time they were really relevant is when they won the tag team titles. I think that was like 2012, no, 13. Maybe 15. Maybe it was 2015. No, it was 2012. Yep, they haven't been relevant in 5 years. They gone through all the gimmicks. They were normal tag team wrestlers, and then they were bullfighters, and now they're Travelocity agents. It's just not working for them. I mean, they're really talented guys, but it's just not working for them. And I believe both of them are also fathers, so they probably want to spend time with their children. They go to the independent scene, they have a lighter schedule, and maybe they can form a possible faction with Carlito. In all honesty, I could actually see these guys win like the IWGP tag team titles. If you could book them right, because they're good wrestlers, so there's nothing to worry about that. If you could book them right, I can honestly see him going to New Japan. If not, then probably GFW. I think I've mentioned them about 100 million times on this channel. Leo Rush. There's a lot of rumors going around that the guy is actually signed with NXT. I would explain who Leo Rush is, but I'm pretty sure I've mentioned him about like 100 billion times on this channel before. So by now, if you watch my videos, you probably have a good understanding about who this guy actually is. Let me try to run down some stuff. 2016 Ring of Honor top prospect. Former CCW heavyweight champion. Former House of Glory Crown Jewel champion. Former MCW Pro Wrestling tag team champions with Patrick Clark or the Velvet Team Dream down in NXT right now. And among other things, I don't want to spend too much time listing off stuff. He's wrestled against pretty much everyone on Independence there is to wrestle, including competing in a 6-man against the Elite. Personally, I'd rather still see him on Independence so he can actually build his name even more than he already has before going to WWE. That way they have no reason but to push this guy because he's going to be super over. Which if rumors are true and he actually is going to NXT, he'll probably still be really over. I just want to know that he's so over that they have to push him. Not because they decide, oh yeah, let's go ahead and give him a chance. If this is actually happening, that's great. I saw the guy had his first ever wrestling match in MCW back in like 2014. I see him compete in Ring of Honor a couple times. Also saw his last match in Ring of Honor as well. You watched the last video, I was at House of Glory up in New York. And I saw him compete for the HOG Heavyweight Championship. If he's actually going, that's great for him. There are super big rumors about the Hardy Boys actually getting a broken gimmick. So Dave Meltzer was actually talking about on the Wrestling Observer Radio. Basically what he's saying is slowly coming down to a simple agreement between GFW or TNA or Anthem, whatever you want to call them, and the Hardy Boys themselves. Will they actually get into time before Great Balls of Fire so they can start implanting the broken gimmick into their match? Maybe. I would like to think so. Probably not, but I would like to think so. And also, it's not really a rumor, he actually said it himself, but Booker T was actually pretty upset about the New Day's parody of him saying the N-word on SmackDown Live. We all know about the infamous promo that Booker T is talking about. It was him and Stevie Ray and Sister Sherry, and Booker T looked at the camera and said, Hulk Hogan will be coming for you! Yeah. So the New Day actually did a parody of that on SmackDown Live. Booker was pretty upset about it because it was a super embarrassing moment for him as a wrestler. He said that on accident, also you just don't really need to say that to really get a promo over. He was also a little upset that WWE would actually go in that direction. It was kind of going off of one, Booker T, and then also the situation with LaMelo Ball, because he said on Raw as well. I didn't really find it all that offensive, but when you hear from his perspective and you actually think about it for a second, it's like, you know, yeah, he actually has a point. They don't really need to bring that up. I mean, it's not like people don't already talk about it anyway. He said it might not even be WWE because New Day kind of does their own stuff as well. I wouldn't call it offensive, but from his perspective and also because it was a blunder in his career, I can understand why he's so upset about it. So over the weekend, New Japan had their 2-day show in Long Beach, California. It was a big 2-day tournament to see who's going to be the first ever IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion. And also a lot of other good matches, like for the Intercontinental Championship and the Tag Team titles and the World Heavyweight title between Okada and Cody Rhodes. The entire card itself was pretty predictable. Well, except for one match, but I kind of saw Juice Robinson going over Zack Sabre Jr., mainly because Robinson's more of a New Japan guy than Sabre is, and it'd be a good way for New Japan to slowly build up a non-Japanese star. I'm not saying you had to make him like Intercontinental Champion or anything, but just build him up so that way he feels more like a threat on the roster. I didn't expect him to tap out so fast. But besides that, all the matches were pretty predictable. Now, you can have a predictable card, but as long as the matches are good, it doesn't really matter, which New Japan did pretty well. And in the finals of the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship title tournament, the title was won by the cleaner Kenny Omega. I understand why you put on Kenny Omega. I mean, you probably want to put on the biggest star there since you're bringing this tournament to the United States. I know he's not from the United States, but he is probably the biggest non-Japanese star in New Japan right now. After I found out Elgin was going to face Omega, I kind of already knew where this was going. I actually rather seen Elgin actually win the title. Now, for a first champion standpoint, Kenny Omega is a better choice. Sometime in the future, I feel like Elgin should win the United States Championship off of Omega. I guess the only concern about him being the US champion, which is nothing wrong with that, I like seeing Omega's champion, is that he probably won't be winning the heavyweight title anytime soon. I don't really see him having a short reign as US champion. Maybe at least like 7 months, which could still kind of give him enough time until next year's Wrestle Kingdom. If he was going to get another heavyweight title shot, probably should be there. If he actually is going to win it, I think he probably should be at next year's Wrestle Kingdom. And finally ending it with TNA, or it's actually no longer TNA, because TNA or Impact Wrestling or Anthem or whatever is all being rebranded as Global Force Wrestling. So Jeff Jarrett was talking about it, he's talking about how Global Force Wrestling is global, which is a pun. Good pun. And there's a bad connotation when it comes to the word TNA. Don't know what he's talking about. And then being called Impact Wrestling because of all financial issues and legal battles that they've been going through recently, that changing the entire company's name is actually good. Which, honestly, he makes a good point. I'm not gonna lie, it's actually pretty smart. What's not smart is within 7 months of changing your logo 5 times. He also talked about how Slammiversary on Sunday was like their official rebranding of TNA to GFW. You know, actually, I'm gonna say pretty positive about TNA. I'm gonna give them a chance, or Global Force Wrestling. I can give them a chance. Maybe this is the time they're actually gonna be going upwards. I mean, like it or not, Jeff Jarrett, man doesn't die. I mean, he had like 70 people in attendance at some of those shows. You gotta give it to him. Or maybe he has some hardcore dirt on someone, because like, this man is like a cockroach. He just does not die. But at GFW's or TNA Slammiversary pay-per-view, looking at the card, I didn't really think it was gonna be all that good, kind of just eh. It was actually a pretty good card from a wrestling standpoint. You had EC3 beat James Storm in a strap match. You had the NFL free agent D'Angelo Williams actually get into the ring, and he actually did pretty good. Considering his time and experience, he actually did pretty good. He did a Samoan drop that actually, it was actually impressive. Good job. And among other matches, Alberto El Patron actually took on Bobby Lashley to see who was going to be the unified TNA and GFW heavyweight champions, which El Patron actually won, so now he's the current Impact and GFW heavyweight champion, which they're probably just going to rebrand as the GFW heavyweight champion. Before I get to the rest of that, something that I thought was really funny, apparently Paige was actually sitting front row at the event in a luchador mask. What? So there's a lot of pictures taken. I don't know how they assumed it was Paige. Okay, maybe I can't assume it was pasty white skin, random luchador mask that's really for no one. Is there anyone in TNA that even wears a mask? Do they still have Shark Boy? I haven't watched TNA in a hot minute, you can tell. Apparently she was sitting there with a luchador mask on, which I find hilarious. Now, she can't get in trouble for this, because I mean, she didn't really show her face. It's kind of just speculation in a way. We all know it's you. I guess if you go to any TNA tapings now, look for the luchador sitting front row and ask for a selfie. But now with GFW, they're actually going to be going back on the road and actually doing some live events. So in August, I don't know exactly where, but in New York, they're gonna have 2 events there and also 1 in Connecticut. But during their TV tapings, GFW is now actually bringing back the Super X Cup, which the Super X Cup is basically just a bunch of X Division guys, but not just GFW or TNA, but all over the world. I'm only familiar with like 3 of the people that are actually in the tournament, and those people are Drago, ACH, and Sammy Guevara. Who do I want to win the actual tournament? Either ACH or Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara, he's slowly starting to grow on me. He's actually really good in the ring. I watch his YouTube channel every now and then. Really good vlogs. But ACH, that's my dude though. I'm leaning towards ACH, but if Sammy wins, I have no problem with that. So if you made it through this entire video, comment down below Mr. Perfect Singlet. And tell me your thoughts on everything I just said, and make sure to like, comment, share, and always subscribe, and we outie.